guys, welcome to School of Reality Rock, where the message is in the music and the video. My name is Jason Dean, your host. In this episode, we've got quite a bit for you. We're going to be reviewing our homework from last week as we checked out Midnight Pilot, The Good Life. Also, we're going to be doing a little kind of explanation about a new genre that we're going to call indie worship. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Also, we've got another 1-minute interview from a couple of cool cats locally here from California. And then also we're going to be giving you a brand new homework assignment in our Check This Band segment. And the band that we're going to take a look at is Rivers and Robots. So last week our homework assignment was to check out the music video from Midnight Pilot, a song called The Good Life, and the music video that went along with that, which showed a contrast of people that had money and that were stuck and were not living life with a lot of fun. They were stuck in their house and taking care of their stuff and making sure their lawn was cut right. And then these 5 dudes that were just having a good old time with some old roller blades maybe they got from the thrift store, a camcorder, and didn't have any new phone technology. And I hope that was a challenge for you to look at the value system in your own life and whether you're really living the good life and according to whose standards. So that was a lot of fun to take a look at that. And here at School of Reality Rock, a lot of our homework assignments are going to be looking at concept videos. And so a lot of things can be portrayed through the lyric writing, but then there's also a lot of powerful communication that could be done through visuals, through pictures, and through concept videos. And so that's always going to be our feature here. So our new genre of music this week in this episode is indie worship. And so some of you might not be familiar with the term indie, but it really is short for independent. So when it comes to music, music can be released and given to the public in lots of different ways and formats, and sometimes it goes through a large corporation, a record company, and they distribute it to radio stations, and they play it and people hear it and then they go and buy the record. But then there's also lots of independent musical artists and worship artists. And so when we say indie, it means it doesn't go through the filter of the record company. So a lot of times it'll even change the lyrical content, it'll change the musical sound to where the artist has a lot more control over the style, even the content of the lyrics, because a lot of times the record companies will tell the artist, you shouldn't write about that, and we're not gonna let you write about that if we're gonna release it to Christian radio and all of that. So my preference is a lot of indie worship that I really enjoy. And so my childhood and experiences when I was growing up, there was a lot of indie worship that was coming out. In fact, there were guys like Keith Green that a lot of people will mention and refer to as a pioneer of somebody that would just write songs from their heart and connecting with Jesus and then go to the churches and share them with the churches. Rich Mullins was also another guy that did that quite a bit, and there's tons of them. And then it kind of became a thing, and then you've got artists like Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant through the 80s and 90s that really did that well, and it kind of became songs that they would write for corporate worship. And then there are guys like Chris Tomlin that carried that torch. When it comes to worship music, there's really 2 different kinds, and some come from more of a corporate worship type of writing meant for the whole church to sing, congregational worship, which traditionally was hymn songs. Then it led into contemporary Christian music, and then you had things in groups and organizations like Maranatha Music and Vineyard Music, and then today you're probably familiar with Hillsong, Elevation, and Bethel worship, songs specifically written for the whole church to sing together. But then you've also got indie worship and individuals that write songs with their own personal time connecting with God that would be more reflective of maybe an experience that they went through and they're sorting out issues, kind of like David wrote in the Psalms. And so these individual songs could be connective for some people with the Lord, and some people just don't relate to that at all. One of those bands would be Lion and Bear. These guys are local here from Yucaipa, California, and they are related. They're brother-in-laws, and they have a lot of fun writing together. They've been writing music together for over 10 years. These two guys, Michael Landingham and Andrew Enos, both are powerhouses separately, have done solo projects, written their own songs, and then they've also collaborated. They've written with other artists, with Wildwood Music, and then they have written songs together with bands like Sentry, and then now with this new moniker name, Lion and Bear. And so I got a chance to catch up with them, and here's our 1-minute interview for this week with Lion and Bear. All right, hey guys, this is Jason hanging out with Lion and Bear, and you guys have been playing music together for a long time now, right?
Yeah. About 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, and they've got a brand new album out, new music, and so who's the lion, who's the bear?
Yeah, I'm the lion.
I'm the bear.
Hey, now we know. So.
Yeah, answer's a big question. That's one of the most
I think that's the first
questions.
question.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's a scripture reference to it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, so it comes from 1 Samuel 17 when David is talking to King Saul as he's about to face Goliath, and the army of Israel is just freaking out because this giant, this Philistine, and David says something remarkable to Saul. He says, the same God that delivered me from the paw of the lion and the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. So for us, it means that we look back on what God has done, the seasons that he's gotten us through in the past, to have faith for the future giants we'll face.
Awesome, right? And so you guys have been influenced by other kinds of music, listening to growing up, and we're kind of exploring a lot of that through these videos. But what would be your number one album that oozes with Jesus all time?
I'll say for me, Full Attention. It was actually Jeremy Riddle's first full-length album.
Okay.
That one was the best. Still to this day, probably my favorite worship album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So not necessarily a worship album, but for me, the way it hit me, ministered to me a ton. Probably Borderland from John Mark McMillan. Got me through a major season of anxiety, and so that's still one of my favorites.
Right.
John Mark kills it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks guys. We look forward to lots more
This
music
guy's the best.
to come.
He's the best.
I put the link down below so you can check out some of Lion and Bear's music. Make sure you go check that out. There's really a lot of cool, unique worship music coming out of Manchester, England, and that area. And some of those bands playing at the Creation Festival that happens every year. Rivers and Robots are out of Manchester, England, with a discography of 6 LPs, 1 EP. 2011, the main person, Jonathan Ogden, who's got a lot of solo stuff. It's just really incredible to check out. But under the moniker name Rivers and Robots, he really wrote the first Rivers and Robots record in his bedroom with a guitar, a keyboard, a laptop, and a microphone. So Jonathan with Rivers and Robots is really a great example of indie worship at its finest, where it's just him in his room, cranking away at songs and spending time contemplating and talking to the Lord through music. His next record, which he did the same thing in 2012, which is Take Everything, he wrote in his bedroom. Then comes the EP in 2013, Untitled Rivers and Robots. And there, even in the band name, you get the idea of rivers, which is something of nature that God created, and then living in the world of robots, of all these man-made things that we have to juggle through and sort through. 2014, there was a free Noise Trade full album from Rivers and Robots entitled All Things New. 2016, my favorite Rivers and Robots album, The Eternal Sun, which really talks about eternity and hope, getting great, direct lines from the Bible and direct lines from the epistles, the words of Paul, which is really cool. And then we got an instrumental album that's very contemplative for you to listen and have your prayers with, that came out with Integrity Music as a part of the series from different artists. And Rivers and Robots did the first one, which is called Still, Volume 1. And then 2018, they put out Discovery with Running Club Records. And so these guys are touring, they're playing music, they're writing music all the time. And mostly their videos are lyric videos. They do have a few music videos. And so I encourage you to check out their lyric videos. And since they are an indie worship band, a lot of their songs really do well with a lyric video. And but here at School of Reality Rock, we're really featuring music videos, and I think this one really hits the mark. The video I want you to watch by Rivers and Robots is called Know You More. Very new, and I really like it because it does portray a lot of strong imagery, using that old school felt board kind of idea. A little kaleidoscope is what you're gonna see, and then very little lyric video type of thing. So it's really combining different concepts into this video, but it's got strong images. And so not only is the message in the music, but there's also the message in the video. And some things that I want you to look for in your homework assignment as you watch the video are some of the things that God does. So get out a piece of paper and just write down as you're watching the video some things that Jonathan is communicating that God does for us. And then some things, how it changes our life and what our perspective is. And so we'll review that in our next video next week, but go to the link below. Check out the video by Rivers and Robots called Know You More. Hey, thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Also, if you are a person that really likes music, maybe you play guitar, maybe you play keyboard or another instrument, I would challenge you to take some personal time and to explore your musical abilities and put some prayer and thoughts into that, and that might even translate into some type of lyric form. And maybe you've never seen yourself as a singer, and but just explore it a little bit, give it a try, and maybe it'll be something that you'll write down that somebody else might sing in the future. It's a great way to pray. It's a great way to connect with God. And if it's only just for you and the Lord, then great. And if it ever makes it to a recording, then that's a whole nother story. But music is a great form of prayer, and encourage you to do it. Give it a try. When you're in that contemplative prayer mode, you could be going through a personal experience, a tragedy, similar to the way that Lion and Bear write their songs. And certain things just might come to mind, and you might have your Bible sitting there, and God will speak to you through His Word as you're reading the Bible, digging in, and pouring out your heart to Him.